Hey guys, this is just a quick update on what's been going on. So, maybe about a week ago, I don't remember when it was exactly, but I had spoken about how I tried to make a purchase online and it didn't go through. And I called the company and they said they were able to take my card over the phone. And this had happened at more than one company. And I called the bank and the bank said that they saw the transactions, but it wasn't on their side. The problem wasn't on their side, it was with the company. Um, so anyway, so I had called the company and the guy took my payment over the phone and he gave me the order number and I thought everything was fine. But then, because that happened once before as well, where my card just didn't go through online. But when I called the person, when I called the company, the person took my card and it went through okay. So I figured that would happen this time as well. Well, it didn't. I just got a call. There was a message on the answering machine today that the card in the system it said do not honor the card. So I'm thinking, what the fuck? How could the perpetrators, how could these psychopathic gang stalkers have done this? Why does the card work with some places and not others? So, and by that point, it was too late to call this guy back. So I'm going to call, tomorrow and find out what the hell is going on. Why would it not be honored? What was the reason, if he even knows? But I looked online, and what it said online was that it's usually an issue with the bank or the company that the card was issued from. So, but the bank said that's not the case. At least that's what they said when I called. It was like over a week ago. So I don't know what the issue is, but I'm pretty sure it's the gang stalkers, these psychopaths who are creating all this trouble. And this is why I hate the idea of digital banking and a cashless society. When everything is digital, they can just they can wipe everything out, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Even your identity they can wipe out. And what can you do? We're headed toward hard times, folks. We're headed toward really hard times. This type of attack is biblical. There's that Sung style warfare. This type of attack was described in the Old Testament, right, in the Psalms of David. But consider how bad it is now with the technology that these demons have access to. These animals in human flesh. It's going to be 1,000 times worse now than it even was back then. Anyway, what else is happening? So first of all, they're infiltrating. We already knew that they infiltrate. There's this woman who. There are actually two people. There are a lot of perpetrators here, but there are two who have been whispering about me, and one is a man, one is a woman, and the guy, they're both white. The guy is tall, he's thin, he's got dark hair. I think he's Jewish, or Italian. I don't know, but he looks at me. He'll look at someone else. He'll whisper something, and then look back at me, and they'll smile. They'll thinking, what the hell is his mouth running off about now? But there's another woman, and she's new here, and she's starting this too. Every time I walk by, she'll lean in and whisper something, and they'll look at me, and they'll kind of laugh, or she'll give me a really, look like I'm insane or something, like a crazy look, like I'm standing there doing something bizarre, like pissing myself or something. Who knows, right? And every time, I have to sometimes get things from my mom. I have to get things for myself. So if I come in holding something, she'll look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what are you doing? Today I ordered, no, I didn't go out and get it. I had to go to the store later because I had to pick up my mom's prescription, and we'll get to that, what happened then. But I ordered, it was just too much because I don't have a car now. It was too much to carry home. A bunch of cases of water, which is what we needed. We needed just tons, because my mom and I both drink a lot of water. So I ordered just a bunch of cases of water. I couldn't carry that all back. And she looked at that and looked at me and like I was crazy. Like how could I possibly be bringing in all that stuff? But she's constantly whispering about me. I am sure she was sent to infiltrate and spread this toxic, poisonous sludge about me, just to work up a shitstorm about me, and you try to, everywhere I go and to everyone, I might encounter, try to turn as many people against me as possible by working them up against me. This is what this witch is doing. Just every time I see her, she's whispering about me, and then they all look back at me. I don't know what the hell they're saying, and of course, in the typical fashion, I'm never given a chance to defend myself or speak on my own behalf if I'm being falsely accused of something. No one ever gets to hear my side. So that's what's happening here. We've got this infiltrator, this vermin, spreading her propaganda and sewage wherever she goes. This is what they do. They spread their sewage. Okay. Finally, what happened? I went to the store today. After that, so that happened, and then I brought the stuff back up, and then I used one of the carts that they have in the building to bring it all up because we just had cases and cases of water, and then I brought the cart back down, and then I went to the store to pick up my mom's prescription. Okay. I caved. I was so stressed, and I shouldn't have done this, but I went and I got cupcakes and cake, and I just for dessert, and I binged, and I shouldn't have, and because too, I'm not going to be able to get into a treatment clinic for the restriction, and then the binging, and the restriction, and the binging, and I restrict, and the edema goes away, and then I start binging again, and the edema comes back. Finally, every time I call someone, they give me these numbers to call. Well, here, try this place and try this place, and most of them I've already tried already, and they don't take my insurance. But not too long ago, I found a place that it was at a university hospital that I thought took my insurance, and I spoke, and was it yesterday or the day before? I had a phone conference, and it was yesterday. I had an intake appointment with a really nice lady, and she said okay, she would call me back or email me and let me know what's going on. Well, she emailed me back today and said they don't take my insurance. Of course. She sent me a list of other treatment centers for eating disorders that, might take my insurance, but a lot of them I've already called and they don't. So I'm not going to be able to get treatment. I shouldn't be binging because the edema is coming back. I'm going to have to start restricting again. I'm screwed that way, but I gave in and I got cupcakes and I shouldn't have. Okay, so there's this guy, dark hair, following me around the store. And when I say following, I don't mean trailing behind me. I mean kind of cutting me off at different corners and different aisles and different sections. So I would go down an aisle and he would go the other way and come towards me. So to make it look like he wasn't following me when he was. And every now and then he would flip his phone up at me, which this I'm used to. Okay. Fast forward, I'm waiting in line. And there's a few people behind me. There's this woman who's in, she's I don't know how old she was, maybe in her 60s. I'm not going to say she was Russian because she didn't speak. I don't know. I just say that now, oh, the person was Russian because I assume they are, because so many people who are following me around, they start speaking with Russian accents. So I just assume. I could say she looked Russian, but that doesn't mean she was. I don't know. She was clearing her throat constantly. She was a few people down from me, constantly clearing her throat. I looked over at her. She looked me right in the eye. And I don't normally look people in the eye. I have trouble with that. But we locked a dead stare. Okay. The next aisle over, what was happening? This woman was standing in line, and she began mimicking my mannerisms, the mannerisms that I wasn't doing at the store, though. Mannerisms that I do at home with my hands, where I have this strange flap. It's just a release of energy. I don't know. Maybe it's even a tick. I don't know what it is, but I walk back and forth, and sometimes I move my arms back and forth. I pace. Okay, I have this energy that I have to kind of work off. But I also flap my hands sometimes. I don't mean flap like a bird, like really weird, but just kind of low. And I'm not going to do it because then they'll have an excuse to copy me even more. But I'm not going to do it in the video. But either way, she was mimicking that, and it's not a gesture that most people make. It's not a common gesture. So she was standing there mimicking, and then she looked over at me and looked back, and that's when I just flipped. They got me shouting today. I said, and I called her some things. I said, what, these pieces of shit are following me around. They're copying my mannerisms. Those are mannerisms that I do in the apartment. Okay, someone can see me in the fucking apartment. And this bitch is copying my mannerisms, and I'm getting really agitated. People are staring at that point, and the angrier I was looking at her as I said it, and she knew it. And the angrier I got, the more she did it. She was trying to provoke me. You think that if something you're doing is agitating someone, especially, they can play the mental illness card. But if you really believe someone is mentally ill and you see that something you're doing is driving them to a near breakdown, maybe you should stop doing it, right? Only a psychopath would say, hey, this person is mentally ill, and we see that this behavior, that this action causes him distress, and then they do it even more. You got to be a psychopath, right? Because we know they play the mental illness card with us. They don't take seriously that we actually are being followed and have this sick warfare being waged on us. They think we're crazy. So if you think someone's crazy, why would you continue doing exactly what you know is setting them off and causing them so much distress? The angrier I got, the more this bitch did it. The more she did it. And I'm literally, it reminded me of this guy from a long time, not a long time ago, what was it, a year, 2 years ago? A white guy who, we were, I don't remember exactly what happened. We were in close proximity. He was perping me. I got angry. Then he looked straight at me, stopped dead in his tracks, looked straight at me, and gave me the nose tap. Literally, he's just almost daring me. Come on, do it then. I'm here. What are you going to do? And the thing is, I know he was getting orders from the psychopaths running this program because he looked at his phone, looked at me, tapped his nose again, and just waited there staring, waiting for me to do something. Okay, and I know what the psychopaths he was getting orders from wanted from me. They wanted me to attack him. No, I didn't. If I had, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be in prison or on death row. And he wouldn't exist anymore. I'm not going to give them what they want. They want me to destroy myself. They don't give a damn about these idiot lackeys they hire. These lackeys are just on a kamikaze mission. Their lives are garbage, are worthless to the psychopaths who hire them. Anyway, so that's what this lady reminded me of. The angrier I got, the more she did it. And she started flipping her hands too, and just the exact thing I do. Nobody does that. I don't. The only time I ever see people do that is occasionally, like if you see, a documentary or something about, someone with autism, if they have severe autism. Now, I'm pretty sure I have autism, but I don't think, I'm somewhere on the spectrum. But this is something you see in more severe cases sometimes, or maybe even OCD, I don't know. But possibly Tourette OCD, I don't know. But, this is not something most people do. And she would just every now and then stop and look at me, and it was almost a dare. And I know it was the psychopaths she was taking orders from. They wanted me to just explode in public. And, of course, I'm not going to become physically violent. I have enough restraint to hold back. But I did not have enough restraint to keep myself from shouting. And I did shout in public, and I called her some things. And here's the thing, folks. This is where sometimes we end up with the reverse of it. Because I'm white and she was not, there's a good chance that, this could have been turned into another Karen or Darren video, or Ken, or whatever you want to call it, right? I could look like, the worst bigot ever because I'm shouting at this, this woman who, and worst of all, in this case, she was Asian. So, and right now, there's so much hatred toward them, and there is. I mean, it's horrible, and it's unjustified. But they could try to turn me into that now too. And people are staring, and I'm sure I'm going to get reported. I'm sure I was reported. I really broke down. They want the most negative response possible, and they will do whatever it takes to get that out of you. They will do it, and it's a dare. They will dare you to respond physically. That's what they're waiting for. Not necessarily the idiot lackeys, because a lot of them are just too damn stupid to know what they're doing, and that they're being used as pawns in this game. Their lives don't matter to the psychopaths who hired them to provoke us. Anyway, I just finished a bunch of cupcakes, and I ate all the frosting off of a cake. Tomorrow I'm going to have to start restricting again because the edema is coming back. And as I said, I am not going to be able to get into any kind of eating disorder clinic. Nobody so far has taken my insurance, including a university hospital that I assumed would. Folks, things are getting so bad. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.